gamers expect a few things from a sequel, no matter the genre or console. Everybody wants a sequel to take all the best ideas from the original and expand on the theme. They want a bigger, more ambitious version of the first game, something that fulfills the potential of the franchise. Apparently, the developers at Arc System Works have a completely different take on what a sequel should be, because Guilty Gear 2 Overture scraps everything people liked about the 2D fighting game and transforms the series into a 3D Dynasty Warriors ripoff. Of course, I suspect most fans of the series already know this. Originally released on the Xbox 360 in 2007, Guilty Gear 2 was a sharp departure that caught many fans off guard. A decade later, the game is finally making its way to Steam in a brand new package. While everybody else may have already gotten over the dramatic shift in genres, I had no clue. I went into Guilty Gear 2 Overture expecting an old-school fighting game, only to discover it's something much different. You play Soul Bad Guy, a bounty hunter who has dedicated his life to destroying a race of magical bioweapons called Gears. 5 years after the events of the first game, our hero finds himself hunted by a group of doll-like women armed with shop tools. What's more, the king is in desperate need of rescuing, and the only way to save the day is to play through a series of repetitive strategy missions and beat the invading forces. Playing out like a cross between Dynasty Warriors and Brutal Legend, the average Guilty Gear 2 stage sees Soul Bad Guy fighting back enemies, claiming land to build up his army, and then using his power to defeat the enemy's main base. Both sides spam the playfield with Master Ghosts and reinforcements, so there's a constant push until somebody can gain the advantage. What sets this apart from the typical Dynasty Warriors clone is that the player will need to do more than just beat back the enemy. On top of capturing strategic areas on the map, Soul will also need to assign troops to defend the seized land, giving this more of a real-time strategy vibe. As 3D brawlers go, this one checks off most of the boxes. It's easy to pick up, and the fast-paced action leaves a good first impression. But as our hero digs deeper into his quest, the player will realize just how limited the gameplay is. While the basic setup is sound, it doesn't do much with the mechanics to keep the levels interesting for long. I compared it to Brutal Legend earlier. At least that had a nice variety of unit types to tinker with. The missions and units in Guilty Gear 2 are nowhere near as diverse. The gameplay is fine, but also on the simple side. No matter what character you play, pulling off the attacks and special combos are largely the same. It's simple and accessible to even the greenest fight fans, which is both good and bad news. Because the gameplay is so simple, veteran gamers will likely find that this is ultimately too limited. It's also weirdly bad at sprinting controls, making simple movements a real pain. While I confess that it took me by surprise, I'm not necessarily opposed to sequels taking radical departures. Had this been a better brawler strategy hybrid, I doubt I would have had any issues with Guilty Gear going this direction. But for a game so steeped in rock music, I found the design of the world and characters to be wholly lacking. Instead of being defined by its influences, the sequel just comes off looking like every other Dynasty Warriors clone. This is especially frustrating when you look at Brutal Legend, a game that bleeds its heavy metal inspiration. Every story beat, visual flourish, and character choice comes from the culture surrounding music. All that is lost in Guilty Gear 2. The gorgeously realized 2D stages have been transformed into generic locations with no defining features. It's also bland. This is a franchise with so much potential for spin-offs and expanded story building. Yet Guilty Gear 2 Overture flushes all that away with boring level designs, an indecipherable storyline, and simplistic gameplay. As sequels go, this one doesn't expand on what made the original so good. Instead, it ditches everything we liked about Guilty Gear and takes a huge step backwards. It's a bold decision that did not work out for Arc System Works. Hey, thanks for watching our review. This is just the start of a busy week here at the site. I'm still in catch-up mode, but things are slowly coming together. We have a bunch of reviews coming your way, including Trial by Viking, which should be up in the next 24 hours or so. We're also going to be posting a contest/survey thing, because I have a bunch of codes to give away and I need your honest feedback, so be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, you should click the subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,